So in today's video, we're going to run through 10 foods that might be sabotaging you reaching your fat loss goals. And some of these foods may surprise you because some of them are marketed as healthy, but they're not really. And when it comes to losing weight, they are definitely foods that you don't want to be eating too much of. So let's dive straight into it with the first one being protein bars or breakfast bars, granola bars, all those kind of things that are often marketed as being healthy because they're high in protein. But the issue is that pretty much all of them either come with a big load of sugar or a big load of artificial sweeteners or artificial ingredients in it, which are not very healthy for you and do have negative effects on your ability to lose fat. And I'll talk a little bit more later in the video about artificial sweeteners. And to be honest, protein bars are just totally unnecessary because at the end of the day, all it is protein. And you can get that protein from much healthier sources of whole natural single ingredient foods. And so rather than eating that bar of protein, you are better off just increasing the amount of meat or fish or eggs that is in your diet, or getting just some kind of good quality protein powder is going to be far better than the protein bars that you see out there. So that's the first one. Number two is fruit juices. Now, I know fruit juices are marketed as being healthy because a lot of them are very high in vitamins and do have some nutrients. However, there is a couple of reasons why fruit juices really aren't great for you. They are incredibly high in sugar. Now, you might just be thinking, well, if it's just fruit that's been squeezed, like, how can fruit be bad for you? Well, the issue is, firstly, when you squeeze the juice out of fruit, you are taking away all the fiber and some of the nutrients out of that fruit, which would normally fill you up and slow down how quickly that sugar is processed in your body so that you don't get a big blood sugar spike. But when you juice it, all that fiber's gone, so you get the big blood sugar spike, which spikes your insulin and puts your body into fat storage mode. But also, a large glass of orange juice is going to probably take 5 freshly squeezed oranges. That is a huge amount of sugar to be able to just chuck back in a few minutes. Whereas if you were to eat 5 whole oranges, you'd probably struggle and you'd feel extremely full after it. Whereas drinking a glass of orange juice is easy. It's not going to fill you up at all and is going to make you hungry in a few hours. So if you're trying to lose weight, I would strongly suggest you stay away from the fruit juices. And if you are a big fruit fan, then just eat the whole fruit. On to number 3. Low-fat yogurt or any kind of flavored yogurts. Any of the flavored yogurts are going to be, again, very high in sugar, or they're going to be high in sweeteners and highly processed ingredients. And then the reason why I say low-fat yogurt is just simply more processed than natural yogurt. And one of the issues with it is when they remove all the fat from the yogurt, which again is healthy fat, and so it's not something you should be avoiding or fearing. But when they move it, what they have to do is they have to add in other processed ingredients to keep the yogurt with the same texture and taste as it had before. So they've taken normal yogurt, which is healthy and great for you, and they've messed about with it, and they've instead made it highly processed and just not as good for your body, which has a knock-on effect on your ability to lose weight. Number 4, and you probably won't want to hear this, but bread. Now, don't get me wrong, there are different kinds of breads that are better and worse. White bread is a bit of a no-no. If you are someone who is trying to lose weight, white bread is probably one of the worst foods you could go for because it is highly processed carbohydrates. And so what that means is a bit like with the fruit juice, they've taken all of the fiber and a lot of the nutrients out of the carbohydrates, out of the wheat that they've used to make the bread. So with white bread, you are literally just left with pure glucose, which is going to spike the blood sugar and put you in fat storage mode, as I said earlier with the fruit juice. So bread in general isn't great, but if you are going to go for bread, whole wheat or sourdough bread is probably your best option. But in general, I personally don't eat bread. I just don't think it's necessary in a diet. You can get plenty of carbohydrates from vegetables. You really don't need to be adding in grains on top of it. And now number 5 is cereal, and this is literally just the worst way you could start your day. Firstly, again, spikes the blood sugar, spikes your insulin, which makes your body store fat, but it's also going to mess with your hunger levels and your energy levels. And what you'll find is you'll have your cereal in the morning that's full of sugar and carbohydrates and not much else. And a few hours later, you will find that you have bad energy levels, you'll be feeling tired, and you'll be feeling hungry again, and you'll be craving more sugar. So opting for a breakfast that's high protein and high in healthy fats is going to fill you up and not flick your body into fat storage mode. So please stay well away from cereal. When it comes to trying to lose weight, cereal is terrible. Now on to number 6, high calorie and sugary coffees. Now, if you're drinking coffee, that's absolutely fine. Black coffee is fine. Coffee with a little bit of milk in it, absolutely fine. But where it goes wrong is when you're getting the kind of fancy, I don't know, mochas or frappuccinos. I don't really drink coffee, so I don't know the names of all of them. But you know what I mean, those coffees that have lots of whipped cream and syrup and sweeteners and all those things. And they, again, like a lot of the things that I've talked about on the list, are going to be affecting your blood sugar levels, they're going to be increasing your hunger levels, and they're just not going to fill you up at all. So if you're a coffee drinker, try to stick to black coffee or just a little bit of milk. Food number 7 is diet soda. Now, this is quite a controversial one. There are lots of people out there who say the sweeteners in diet soda, like aspartame and sucralose, have some really negative health effects on you, while some people say they're absolutely fine and you've got nothing to worry about. But the issue that I have with those sweeteners is, for most people, when you get that diet soda or that diet Coke and you drink it, you get that really sweet taste in your mouth. And that increases your cravings and your hunger levels for more food and for more sweet stuff. So although the drink itself may not be causing you to gain weight, the cravings you get from drinking that drink that make you more likely to eat more food and more sweet food will. Now, there are also a bunch of other stuff when it comes to sweeteners that I kind of mentioned earlier about how it might potentially be affecting your gut microbiome or the microbiome in your mouth. And certain sweeteners have been shown to potentially create an insulin response, which again does massively affect fat loss. I'm not going to dive into all those things in this video because that could probably actually be a whole nother separate video. But based on the research that I've done and the information I have, overall, I would say that calorie-free and diet drinks are not going to help you with fat loss. They are going to make it more difficult. Now on to number 8, seed oils and vegetable oils. And the reason for this is simply that seed oils and vegetable oils that you find on the shelves in supermarkets have been highly processed, and because of that there are a lot of things in them that you don't want to be putting in your body that will cause inflammation in your body. And inflammation plays a big role in weight loss, because when your body is inflamed, it's not going to work how it's supposed to, and it's going to make weight loss more difficult. So when it comes to oils, you probably want to be sticking to olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, and then you can also cook with butter or ghee. But sticking with those 5 things, you're going to be sorted, and you really don't need the vegetable oils and the seed oils. So I would stay away from them, and do look on the back of packets, because you will find that a lot of products do use seed oils in them, and it is worth just being aware of that and trying to avoid it where you can. And then we come on to number 9, and this is one that you probably already know, and that is alcohol, especially beer, and wine isn't great either, which is sad for me because I absolutely love wine. But I mean, beer's the worst, but wine's not too far behind, because they are very high in glucose and they've got lots of sugar in them on top of the alcohol. But alcohol isn't great in general. Firstly, because it's just very calorie dense and it has no nutrients for the body. But secondly, because alcohol is a poison, when you drink it, your body and your liver becomes totally focused on dealing with that alcohol. So if you then eat some food after having drank some alcohol, that food just gets stored straight away, because your body is not focusing on dealing with that food, it's focusing on the alcohol. And seeing as alcohol for most people does increase your appetite, it basically creates this combination of you're consuming a poison that is really high in calories, it's increasing your appetite, so you then eat more calories, and those calories are very likely to just be stored away as fat because your body is so busy dealing with the poison. So alcohol and weight loss don't really mix. Now, as I mentioned, I love wine and I do drink it every now and again, so I'm not saying you can't lose weight and drink, but if you're someone who drinks on a regular basis, you are going to probably need to cut that down if you're wanting to lose weight. And finally, number 10, and that is dried fruits. Now, again, you might be thinking, how are dried fruits unhealthy for me, are going to make me gain weight? Well, the issue with them is similar to what I talked about with the juice, how a glass of orange juice has 5 oranges in it, whereas you'd struggle to eat 5 oranges. Well, when you dry fruit, the actual size of that fruit shrinks and it makes it easy to just eat way more of it. So, for example, to produce 1 pound of dry mango, you need about 12 to 15 pounds of fresh mango. So again, you could easily sit down and eat a bag of dried mango and you'd be absolutely fine. But if someone placed 5 whole fresh mangoes in front of you, you wouldn't eat them all. And so it comes back to that again. And a lot of the dried fruits you find, like the sultanas, the raisins, the dried mango, they're all very high in sugar. And because they're so easy to eat, you're likely to just eat a lot more than you probably should. So that was a quick list of 10 foods that may be sabotaging you from reaching your fat loss goals. I know some of them you may have thought were healthy or were going to help you to lose weight, and that is sadly not the case. So if you are someone who's trying to lose weight and trying to get into better shape, I would definitely think about cutting down on consuming the 10 foods and the 10 things that we ran through in this video. I hope this has been another helpful video for you. Please do subscribe to my channel if you found this video helpful and you are someone who is wanting to lose weight, build some muscle and get in better shape. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.